All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Unconventional Mindset. We are live. Everything looking good. Audio's coming through. My name is Odu, and we are continuing on in our journey to create and build a company that is going to generate $1 million in revenue every single year. That's what we're working towards. And we are building Nakedflow, which is our very first Webflow theme that we're building, which is going to be part of Pixel Pieces, which is our Webflow component and template library, which we're doing. Did I say theme? I meant template. Anyways, it's our template. It's a Webflow template. So where did we leave off yesterday? So I didn't do any work yesterday on this. So we're just starting again from where we left off yesterday. And we were kind of working on the main navigation, which we ended up calling Navbar 1. So, okay, let me zoom in a little bit to make this maybe a little bit more visible. Okay, right. And I remember having some issues or some thoughts about this drop-down link and how it's going to appear depending on the viewport. So let's see if we can show it here. Okay, so everything looks fine here, but I think on the actual I think we need to go take a look at the hover because the site, what did we do? No, we're going to keep that. We're going to keep that as the primary color. We're not going to mess with colors now. But what we need to do is when we're on this side or this size, first and foremost, I think we need to show this menu, and now we need to show this drop down. The padding is a little too much. Does it need to be 0? I think it does need to be 0. That's on the navbar 1 dropdown. Then I want to see what this container looks like. Can we show this? Okay, interesting. So this container, its position is absolute. So we don't want this when it's dropped down. We need it to be probably relative. And then we are going to have to change these links. So I think if we make them inline, no, not like that. I think we just basically want to look at the padding and drop all the padding. So let's go 0.25 REM, 0.25 REM, and then don't need a padding on that side. On this padding, I mean, if we do 0, it's going to line up exactly, but I don't mind giving it a little bit, a little bit of an indent, maybe 1 REM indent, and then the whole bar itself, I think margin at the top of 0, and okay, we need to show it again. And I think I think here, I don't know what the padding should be. I feel like we want to give it some space. I think we'll give it 0 space or 0 padding at the top and the bottom. So that way everything will line up nicely. And what I mean by that is you can see this here. The spacing in between each item is the same. So I like that. Oh, interesting. It completely messed up all my other style. Well, why did it do that? Oh, why the hell did it do that? What just happened? Well, what the hell just happened? What? And now we're back to okay. Oh my god, what the hell was that? Okay, let's refresh this. That was weird. I'm not crazy, right? Like, you guys saw that? Where the menu was back to, had a gray background. Oh, that was messed up. Okay. So we're looking good. The one thing that I'll say, if we go back down to here, let's show this. I feel like I want to make these much smaller. There we go. In fact, actually just have this as 0, undo. Oh no, that doesn't look good at all. Yeah, right, that's not what I wanted. Right, and I think it's in this actual bar here that has this padding. So 0 and 0. No, that's not good. 0.5, I think we'll make it even. Okay. Yeah. And 0.5. Okay. I think that's good for this navigation. Now let's take a look at our folders here. If I rename this, is it going to rename everything? I'm just going to test this out. Because then that'll be good. Because if I want to change, say, navbar 1 to navbar 2, yeah, it did. Oh, but it just didn't change the whole, this one. Interesting. Maybe because it's a utility class. Nope. Where do I have a utility class of Z? Where's that being used? Oh, Z index, right. Okay, interesting. So let's change this back. So that's good to know, but it's, again, it's very, very peculiar that I didn't change the main one. Where am I going? Okay. So we got navbar 1 back, and that's basically all that we need. Let's open all of this. Yeah, navbar 1 for everything. Excellent. I want to do a quick clean of styles. Can I see what needs to be, yeah, what do we have that needs to be cleaned up? Text logo, navbar 1 drop down toggle. Background color neutral lightest. I don't want to get rid of that one. It won't let me pick and choose which ones I want to remove, will it? No, this can't be right. Background color. Oh yeah, no, that's not even done right. This should be an underscore. And padding section, because all of these classes, where can I get a list? So like it should be padding. Where's all the padding ones? Where's the padding section? Oh yeah, padding section small. All right, it's just not being deployed anywhere. Which doesn't make any sense because it should be in the style guide. So padding, let me go down to the padding. I gotta go all the way down. Padding extra small, padding medium. But it's for this section. Where is that? Is it up here? Yeah, padding section small. Padding section small. It's right here. Why is it saying it's not there? Let me take a look at this again. Padding section smallest. Okay, right. So that can go, that can go, that can go, that can go, that can go. Text size medium. That should be here, shouldn't it? Does that need to say? Text size medium. So why is that saying it needs to go? Text size medium, text size medium, it's there. And all this stuff too. Okay, let's remove it and see what happens. Well, nothing happened, it's still here. Still here, everything still looks okay. All right. Let's get on with this. All right, so how minimal should we make this? Oh my goodness, that's kind of a question that I don't have an answer to right yet. It's at some point, or at some part of me is thinking that if you just design something that's just fully designed, it's almost easier because you just follow the design. Whereas this one, it's almost like thinking about WordPress and how WordPress was. Now everything is super, and maybe this one's free. Maybe this one isn't something that people pay for, because it's just kind of laying out all the elements, right? Right. Right, so we have our hero section. Yeah. Welcome to a minimal Webflow template. Yeah. I mean, what else can we put in here? We can put in a blog section, our CMS section, of course. And how much time do we spend designing the page structures? Or should that be left to components? Oh, now I'm getting kind of, Yeah, well, let's start. I think maybe what this is going to be, this is just going to be something that we can use to really start dialing in our components. So this will be like a from the blog section. Articles from the blog. Again, let's just go into here for a second. These terms of service, it's like, what are you going to do? Say no? Explain what happens if you lose access to your primary email. Clarify the responsibilities for Webflow users who build websites for clients. Ooh, I should probably take a read at that. This might be interesting here. their acceptable use. So if there's a website that you have that is hosting something that they seem is not acceptable use, then they can shut you down. I could just see this thing being a really big issue if you start getting into like political stuff. Like, oh, you have a website that is, doing a campaign for candidate X. Well, we don't like candidate X, so let's take it down. Not the greatest thing, but there's always a risk, I guess, when you rely on other people. Clarify what happens in workspace or site plan usage is exceeded. So is it just in this terms of service? So we wanted to talk about or look at their fair use, right? Or acceptable use. Acceptable use policy. Let's see what it says. Do not use any deep link, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. Okay. Probe. Okay. Won't do that. Okay. Okay. Don't do that. Spamming. Okay. Yeah, don't impersonate others. Okay. No spamming. Okay. Nothing illegal. No weapons. Ooh, okay. This is, agreed, but I mean, who's going to define what something entices someone else to do? Oh, look at this. That creates or may create a risk of harm. What does that even mean? Something may create a risk of harm? That could be interpreted in a lot of different ways. Yeah, okay. Don't be an ass. Got it. Yeah, obviously, don't be disgusting. Mm-hmm. Are you serious? They got a whole COVID thing here? Right. Right. No comment. Yep. Okay, so yeah, that is pretty, this is pretty vague. That's something that is something to think about. I mean, I think you're going to get that with anybody and anywhere. I mean, of course, I just do work for clients and, it's pretty vanilla stuff, right? But I mean, you just imagine if you're a comedian or whatever and you have a website and someone says, hey, that stuff that person said, that joke, that was harmful, and then they report you and then they could take your site down. Like, oh my God, the trouble. Granted, I never heard of anything like that, and maybe just because you hear so much of that kind of stuff going on, that maybe I'm just more attuned to thinking that that's going to happen to everyone. It's just really frustrating. Anyways. Anyway, what was I doing? Anyway, I was doing something. Right. I wanted to take a look at what I already have for some specific components. So basically, I was creating these different blog sections where it just has different layouts, I guess you can say. Well, obviously it does have different layouts. Some with images, some without images. So that's the thing. When I create, or if I create something that's naked, I think what it's just going to be, it's just going to be a bunch of components that are already put together that are like just the super most minimal components that we'll have. At least that's what I'm thinking. So with that being in mind, do we have, now that I think about one thing that I'm going to need to do, we don't have columns. Like, because this here is style grid 3. So we don't have specific columns and grids. I feel like I need to make grids because I know in here in this style guide, this original one that I was working on, I definitely have grids right here, which I just called, you know, whatever the name of the grid was. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, no, not 5, because I guess 5 is just kind of off, but right, I liked where I was going with this. I like the idea of making grids. And then when you have a grid, they all have the same spacing, but you can update that in a global variable for basically like global grid padding or spacing. It could just be the global padding, but I think one for grids, you might want to differentiate that. So how would we do? I feel like for this one, if we do a style guide and we do grids, let's just copy this whole thing. We utilize the same principles and structures that are already in place in client first. And what I mean by that, quickly add grid elements, grid layouts to your project. So what I mean by that is we'll have just like the margins plus direction. So it'll be grid and then grid like 1, 2, 3 in terms of how many columns it has. So we'll do the first one. I need one of these things. Pixel section content. Well, that should still be there, shouldn't it? And then, so we're just going to have a first grid, which is just going to be grid. And this is just going to not rename. This is just going to be grid. Delete, 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 delete. Pixel style empty dash. But that's, how come this one is staying as a box and this one is not? I don't know, but so we're just going to say that this is going to be a grid. Oh, not there. That's wrong. On here. This is going to be a grid. And I guess everything could just be, I don't even think that could be auto. And then we need a variable. I think we need default global grid spacing. And it needs a value. Okay. Then we need another section. Okay. Hang on a second. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I need to structure this. So we got the section and the header and the content, and then just another section with content without a header. Okay. So we're just going to copy this section. We're going to remove this header. This one, we're going to remove this content. And then this one, I guess we can just even bring this one up here, just because we're going to copy it, and then we'll say, so this is the grid, and then this is the grid, grid sizing. Oh, excuse me. Grid sizing classes. And then what I think we can do, what we should do, is we should do so first things first. Pixel Styleguide item. Pixel Styleguide item. going to go in here. And this is going to be, I think we need to do something like this, right? Right, because it's a combo. I'm just figuring out exactly how to code this and display it visually that makes the most sense. So like if we just do grid 2, we can't really do that because it's not set to grid. Do we need to have the first grid and then set the number of columns? That's the question. Like if this is grid 2 columns, I mean, you set it to grid and then it's at 2 columns by default. Do you really need to have this first class? Right, if that makes any sense. Which will be basically like this. Because with this, you have to set it as grid anyways. I don't think you need it to be a combo class, basically like your button like grid and then is 2 columns or whatever. I don't think we want that. I think what we just need is 1 class for all of it. We also need to make it 100% as well. Does that make sense? Or does this look good? Then we have a grid 3 columns. Still a grid. Set the gap the same. And did that not, is that variable not here? It did not stick. What happened? I'm pretty sure I created that new class. Or that new variable, I should say. Let's look at this. It didn't. Okay, well. Let's create a new sizing, default, global, grid spacing. To REM. Okay, done. Grid 3 columns. 3. Same thing. Global grid spacing. Yeah. But so here's the thing why a grid would be nice is because we can do these things to all of them, like set it at 100%. And everything will go to 100%. So let's just, let's exit out of this one. Pixel style guide item. I don't think this needs to be stretched. So this would be grid. Is left. I think this one needs to be is left. Nope. Nope. How do I get it? Oh, I think I put them in a block. Where are they? Where are the buttons? Is in a button group, right? Control Alt G. So this, I'm going to delete this. We're also going to delete this one. We're going to clean up those styles. And this one's going to be grid. So it displays as grid. And now grid 2 columns. So now we'll just edit this one to have 2. Right, so now the regular grid has everything. Has the global and all that kind of stuff. And then if you want to change one grid, you'll change them all. Yeah, that's much better. So grid, then grid 3 column. And then edit that to have 3. So we have our pixel style guide item. This one could go away. I think what we want to do is wrap all of these ones. Also in a tag, but I think this one we could use our new one, grid. Actually, just a grid. It's just a simple grid with spacing on the inside. Let's actually duplicate. Grid plus number of columns. Right, and I could probably then just have the one. Okay, duplicate this one. Two, three, four. Let's just try one more just for right now. Grid 6 columns. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's funny how that's not showing up. Why is that not showing up on here? Like, I know that you're there because you can see them right here. What the hell? Weird display issues sometimes with this thing. Or no, that's actually, no, this is actually my fault. I don't have enough actual grid items. No, that's my fault. There we go. Yeah, I just didn't have enough items in there because I only had 3. I didn't copy them over. It made the grids, it just didn't color them in. Okay, so I'm still not sold on this, having this grid stuff in here, but I like the idea because I use them basically all the time to lay out columns. Sometimes I use flex too, depending on what it is I'm building, but it's gonna have a bad pun because sometimes it gives me the flexibility, but that's bad. Let's just keep going. 8 column. We'll do. Yeah, we'll do 8. Oh, no, we got to do this first. Grid 8 columns, plural. And give that 8. And 6, 7, 8. Okay. A 9 column. I think we'll go to 12. We won't go to 16. Grid 9 columns. 9, 10. Add another one there. Grid 10 columns. Okay. And one last one at 12. 11, 12. Grid 12 columns. And okay, so those are your grids. Not bad. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I'd be curious to know why the people over at FinSuite didn't add in anything for grids. So let's copy this. Let's call this grids. And basically we need to get to our whole section on grids. Okay, pixel style guide utility. Nope, it's going to be pixel dash style guide slash grids. And let's give this an ID, grids. So then we could take this link and link it to grids. Okay. So that gets our grids done up. And the reason why we wanted to do that is so that we could go in here. Oh, geez, do they have, what is this? Oh, it's the same thing, just insert a grid. Yeah, which is fine. But I guess it's kind of cool because then you can kind of see it in here. Interesting. You can kind of see it as a grid, which is cool. But then you can still use the same class names, like grid 3 column, which is kind of cool. But I actually like that instead of, well, actually, hang on. If I press the wrong key. If you make a div and call it a grid or turn it into a grid, does it show up as a grid? Because that's cool, because I like when you can visually kind of see what an element is. So here's a div, and let's just turn it into a grid. No, it doesn't. So I wonder semantically if there's any difference, like in HTML. It's tough to say because you can't even really see anything in there. So they're both, this one has a class with layout dash grid and grid 3 columns. I mean, that's the one, I guess that's the one that I did, grid 3 columns. And it's WF grid and then grid and then selected. Well, grid is the one that I put in. I don't know why it's selected though. Oh, maybe because I'm actually selected. Interesting. Oh, what did I press? Wrong button. Okay, so this is the one that is built in. And I think the difference is this: it has this W layout grid class, which all gets overridden anyways, which I think is overridden by everything here in grid. Interesting though. I wonder if that's why. Okay, so now we want to go in and we want to actually create some blog categories and some blog CMS items. I think what I'm going to do, it's been about an hour here, so I think this is going to be a good place to take a quick break and, or kind of sign off for the day. But I think what I really should do is really have a good think about the layout of what this naked theme should be and whether I should make it more of something that's super, super bare boned and then, people can just download it for free versus something that has a whole lot of different components that are plugged and played into it so that people can go. I'm really thinking of having it be what I remember from all my favorite times working with WordPress is that you just slipped or like pared everything down so minimally that you just basically had your homepage and you had like a blog post that was on the homepage that was pulling from the blog, and then you did your actual CMS page, collection page, and like maybe like a basic about page, but like super, super minimal, right? So that's what I liked, and I think having something like this, I'm not sure how well it's going to work with Webflow. So that's why I need to put some thought and to just kind of think around about what a standard naked Webflow theme should look like and what it should contain. So if you have any thoughts or any ideas on what you'd like to see or what it should or what you think should be in there, definitely let me know. Leave me a comment. I look forward to hearing anybody's suggestions and ideas. And we're going to be back at this tomorrow once I've had some time tonight and in the morning to kind of have a good think. And then we're going to start plugging away. Just keep building it and putting out and getting all these other components as well ready for it. So thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for, I don't know, just thank you. Just thank you for everything for just being you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the support, and we'll see you tomorrow for a brand new live stream.